Welcome, Libra and Libra cross watchers, to your reading. So we have the moth for you. Your person has the snake and the oyster, and this intense panther card actually fell out like that. So, Libra, I kind of feel like you may have gone through a bit of a transformation recently. It feels like it's almost like you may not realize how much you've changed, but you have changed quite a bit. And I feel like there's something about this person. It almost seems like you may look at them as going through a similar change that you've gone through, but I feel like whatever's going on for them, it's very uncomfortable. It's almost like, let's say, for example, either the change that you're making is one that you wanted to make or you've been planning to make, or you're far enough into it that it doesn't feel like it's disorienting anymore. But this person, man. So the Panther card in this deck talks specifically about how, like, it's like change is coming one way or another. This type of change is usually once it's almost like you're having a nice picnic or a campfire or something, and a panther drops out of a tree because everybody needs to get out of there, right? It's like maybe there's a tidal wave coming and everybody needs to get out for safety, but and it'll be good that you all leave, but the fear and the shock at the arrival of that panther falling out of a tree ready to like pounce, it's very, it makes this person feel like they're running from something bad instead of running to something that's good. I feel like this person may be intentionally ignoring something about themselves that's really amazing. I feel like this is someone, they sell themselves short like all the live long day. I feel like there's someone that hold on for a second. It feels a little bit like your entrance or presence into this person's life was the spark for this panther energy. It's almost like there's something about you coming around this person. It's like the panther may have been faced the other way, but it's like this animal hears, the hunter step on a twig and it cracks, right? And that's when they're like, no, they kind of turn around with that big growling snarl. I feel like your person is there's something that they really want to do. I feel like there's a certain talent that your person has that to a certain extent they have been holding back. I feel like because they're not allowing themselves to explore it, even they don't know how good they'll be at it. That's kind of what it feels like. I'm going to be honest, I feel like to a certain extent your person sometimes may self-sabotage, but things end up working out for them anyway. So we're going to start pulling some clarifiers because this is... Can we get some on this panther energy, please? So the Three of Cups can talk about celebration. For me as a reader, it always means like there's too many people with their nose stuck in this situation, if you will. I feel like this energy is... It's actually furious at you somehow. It's almost like whatever this energy is, it thought it had more time. but then the signal came from you that they had to turn around and pay attention to this situation. And it's almost like some of the fury and resentment is coming towards you instead of, themselves for managing their time poorly. Is kind of the energetics of it. So it's a little bit like there's a lot of bark, but not a whole lot of bite with this thing. Energy, person, what have you. I feel like you can see a certain fire behind the eyes of your person. And it's like you kind of want to you want to get to know that part of them. Right? I feel like you kind of want to, this might sound strange, but it's almost like you kind of want to pick away at the surface until you can dig deep enough to see that part of them that that is really interesting, that isn't trying to be, let's say, for example, this person's trying to be evolved and, nice all the time and that sort of thing. And it's like, yeah, that's nice, but you're interested in all of, the other parts of them, not just the ones that are carefully curated for public, not approval, but like, you're not interested in who they want to present themselves in as, you're interested in who they really are. I feel like that makes them suspicious. It feels like the type of energy that this person, listen, you, me, and the fence post all know that if somebody is hypervigilant when it comes to new people, it's because they've been burned for too long by too many people or too recently. It's, one or a mix of those three or what have you. And I feel like there's this energy here where I feel like if you were to get a glimpse into this Panther energy, it actually feels like it's something that would, it's like seeing how big this energy is would kind of make your eyes widen for a second, like, whoa, that's a little bit more than I thought. And I feel like this person, to a certain extent, whatever this energy is, they know that it's too big for a lot of people. I feel like that's why they kind of filter it through this, like, it's almost like someone that tries to present themselves as very spiritual, very evolved, so on and so forth. It could be, may not be the actual situation, but it feels like the type of energy where this person at one point in time may have been very volatile and they like grew up and matured and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, and so now they act in a way that is palatable for most people. But it feels almost like it's, I don't know how else to say it. It's almost like it's a grayed out version of them, if that makes sense, right? It's like you go into the picture format and you turn the color or you turn the brightness down and it all of a sudden becomes more, almost like pastel colors instead of these really vibrant colors. I feel like you're able to see that this person actually may have had quite a temper in the past. I feel like in the past they didn't put up with anyone's BS. It does feel like it may have been where it's like they would, there's a difference between being aggressive and assertive, right? Excuse me. And I feel like this person may have been quite aggressive in the past, or whatever this energy is. It was aggressive in the past, but it couldn't get to you. And it seems to think it's almost there now. Okay. Can we get a card between the oyster and the panther? So we have the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck with the World and Five of Wands. Just a second here. It feels like something's ending. It feels like something is, it's almost like it's a good thing that this energy is distracted or is being like, it's a good thing that this energy is being distracted from what's ending and is focusing on something with you. or this situation, because I feel like if they were looking at the whatever it is that's ending, it actually feels like it might, like I was kind of, making this assumption that this Panther energy was going to be really angry, but I actually feel like this Panther energy would be devastated to watch whatever this is fall apart, to watch it end. And it's almost like, and this, not that you're just a distraction, right? But this distracting energy with you, it's a welcome distraction for this energy. I just feel like your person's trying to pretend that it's not. It almost feels like your person feels that they are losing control of a situation. And it's easier to focus on something that has kind of like it's easier for them to distract themselves from something that's ending than it is to watch. It's like there's nothing they can do to save it. Excuse me. Whatever it is that's ending, there really isn't anything that they can do. So it's almost like they just kind of have to let this thing end in the background. And that may be also another reason why it's a very potent energy right now. Hold on. Can we get one on this snake energy, please? 1, 3. So we have the 8 of Pentacles at the bottom. We have the Magician, the 2 of Swords, and the Empress. It's interesting because this is how these 3 cards fell out. But anyway, it's almost like this energy might come in ready for like war. And then they come in and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to do it this way. And it's like, it seems to instantly disarm this person, right? It's like they expect coming in with this to kind of have this big fight to get what they want. And it's almost like they don't know what to do when it's not hard, right? It's the type of energy. It's like they're used to having to climb this big fence to get to the field they want to get to. And it's like, and they go there one day and all of a sudden the fence is gone. And it's like the impulse is to kind of look around and like, is the fence gone? Is it here? Is there another thing that's going on that I'm going to get trapped by? Like, it just feels like this person, I feel like they've had to be hypervigilant. I'm sorry to say this. And I feel like that's because really and truly, they have not had a lot of people that actually had their back. You know what I mean? They've kind of been, it doesn't feel, it may be the case, but from what I'm seeing, it doesn't feel necessarily that people actively tried to betray this one. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but it feels like more recently that this person thought someone had their back and they didn't. It's like no one was plotting against them, but they didn't back them up when they assumed that that person would be on their team. It actually feels like any, the average bear would have assumed that that person would be on Panther's team and they weren't. And it feels like whoever that other person is put other people above this Panther energy, and it's kind of put them in this place where they always feel like they're backed into a corner. So it's like when somebody does something nice or someone's like, yeah, okay, let's do that. They're looking at you like, what's the play here? You know what I mean? That hypervigilance is a very suspicious energy. Can we get one more on this Panther? So we have the Knight of Wands reversed with the 10 of Wands here. I actually feel like underneath this really intense energy, it feels like there's a lot of sorrow. I feel like there's times where this panther energy feels like if one more thing like that happens, if one more thing happens, it's almost like they're concerned that that'll be what does them in. That'll be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And I feel like that's another reason why they're hyper vigilant, because they're trying to avoid being broken by the world. So it's almost like I'm gonna not like I'm gonna get them before they get me sort of energy, but the slightest insult, the slightest inclination that like this person's is going to be backed into a corner, it's almost like they start kind of wiling out or flailing out before they can get to the corner. It's almost the energy of like, if they can make people believe that they're more erratic than expected or more of a handful than expected, they seem to believe that people will then be more inclined to leave them alone, which does feel like there is some truth to that. And it's almost like this person may have been living like this for so long that they didn't, sometimes if you've been really hurt by a certain situation and then in the next relationship or similar situation, you can kind of see the maladaptive or you can see how that past experience is affecting your perception and sometimes actions in the new situation. I feel like they've been living like this for so long that it's like they would have to go years and years back in order to remember what it felt like to not have to function that way. And I actually feel like they look back at that time in their life as, well, I just didn't know. I just didn't know what the world was. I didn't know any better. Now that I know better, that's not going to happen again. So, oh my goodness. I was just about to say we're going to pull a couple cards for you. And these two fell out. So, we have the Five of Pentacles and King of Cups. So I'm just going to take one ear thing off. Sometimes this house creaks a lot and it creeps me out. So, it kind of feels like the two of you respond very differently. So I'm just going to make sure the mic is good. To this same type of stressful, backing into a corner. I feel like when this person gets backed into a corner, they kind of while out. Whereas if you get backed into a corner, it causes you to like stand up a little bit straighter and look around. And it's like you're, I don't know why this is how I'm seeing it, but if you've ever seen, the Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, when there's probably other movies that do it as well, but that's the one I remember, where it's like when you look through his eyes, you're looking at a computer and he's like, people look like they're almost like blueprints, and he's trying to find someone that is the same size as him so he can get their clothes at the beginning of the first movie. It's almost like you're doing that. You're looking around, looking at different things, trying to assess the situation. Ooh, it's like Denzel Washington in The Equalizer. It's that type of like, how am I going to manage this situation? It's the difference between like, this person's going to while out and you're going to get real quiet. Not in a like meek way, in a you're not going to be letting anybody know what your next move is sort of way. I feel like there's something that's very attractive and appealing about that type of energy to this person. Sometimes they say that you attract what you, obviously what you are, but sometimes also what you need. And I feel like this person actually could learn a lot from you if they're willing. Going to be honest here. You may not want to hear this, but I kind of feel like there's going to be times where you feel that you're better than this person. That you are somehow superior, that you are, maybe not all of you, but it definitely feels like you're going to be looking at it like you seem to have coped better with what's going on in your life when you compare it to them, to them and their life and how they deal with things. Hold on for a second here. It seems to you that like you found a way to kind of conquer yourself in the midst of the storm. I'm going to be honest though, I kind of feel like this person, a lot of people have like an ebb and flow in their life. I honestly feel like this person just doesn't know any other way to cope. It's almost like, let's say, for example, their life has been tough since they were young and they had no one to show them how to conduct themselves. So there's certain coping mechanisms that they have that are actually very, like, I want to say mature, but it doesn't quite capture the energy of it, right? It's like, this person reverts back to, when they kind of get their back against the wall, it's like there's this immediate danger and feeling like their best and most effective defense is to just, hold on for a second. I'm trying to find the right way to describe this. Their best and most effective defense is to create fear in other people so that the people that are trying to come at them will be like, whoa, this is a bit much. So it's almost like they allow themselves to get completely out of control to seem unmanageable to other people, to make whatever it is. Let's say someone's trying to manipulate this person. It's like when someone is trying to take something from this person, they make themselves appear like it's going to be so much freaking work that by the time that person gets whatever they want out of this panther person, it's not even going to be worth the trouble. Whereas there's a different kind of like, there's a different energy that comes from you. Very different. So I'm realizing that we're already past the 20-minute mark. I apologize. We'll just get some bit of advice here. Advice. And we'll do one more. What to expect. Okay. I feel like this person's going to stress you out, right out. I feel like, especially for somebody that is really good at keeping your cool, at least in this kind of context, I feel like this person they might really get under your skin. There's something about when they kind of get into that energy where they act a little bit wild. It's almost like you kind of absorb some of it. It seems to kind of influence you. It almost makes you a little bit shorter in your responses, a little bit shorter with people, cutting people off, whereas normally you would kind of maybe wait and let someone finish their sentence. I feel like it feels like you're going to be in the coming, days and weeks, you're going to be evaluating what kind of influence this person has on you, and if that's an influence that you want to keep around. There's something about this person. It's almost like they feel like a guilty pleasure to you. Whatever is going on here, it definitely feels like you're going to be learning something about yourself that you may not want to admit. it's almost like in this whole situation, there may be something that happens here that you would normally look at yourself as someone that wouldn't get involved in that. But you seem to be, it's almost like it makes you question yourself, question who you are. Not your character necessarily, but it's like it makes you question what it is that you actually want and what it is that you're. It's almost like if, for example, you were kind of feeling like you were above all of this sort of stuff and then somehow you get sucked into it. It's like you're looking at it like, wait a second, is that me? And I'm going to ask you a question here instead of telling you something. Is it possible that your view of yourself needs to change, which it may or may not? And then this is like kind of an and or. And or is it possible that if you are judging this person based off of their current attitude or their current approach, it's almost like if someone that typically is able to conduct themselves in a certain type of way is drawn into this energy in this situation, how much more so may other people be affected, especially if they've never been shown anything else? So, I feel like kind of grappling with that will help you have a lot of compassion for this person. It does feel like this situation may make you feel like you're preoccupied with it. But it feels like you're kind of searching for the nugget of like truth or self-improvement in it. And if you're able to focus on that, I feel like you actually end up seeing this person as someone that is deeply, deeply misunderstood. So I think I'll leave it there. If this reading resonated, I hope that it was helpful. I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Much love. Bye.